Very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. It's live the 24th, 2025. It's another Indian football discussion on my channel, Arunfoot. My name is Arunfoot Chaudhary and welcome back. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late than my usual time at 9:45 IST. And another day, another hopefully interesting discussion on Indian football. But before we start, those of you watching it maybe afterwards, those of you who are watching it live now, if you like it, do leave a like behind, share it with other people, and join the community, join the family. Let's keep on growing Arunfoot, and that is only possible with your help, with your support. And thanks as always for those. And also watch the short videos that I try and make on a regular basis. Today in the morning I did something on the 3 coaches shortlisted for the Indian national team job: Stephen Constantine, Khalid Jamil, as well as Stefan Tarkovic. Before that, of course, the overall 107 coaches, my favorites, and other things: India, AIFF, FIFA, CAS, Interkashi. Have a look at all those things. Jingham tweeted about new sports. Well, I haven't seen it, Garen. Let me just check quickly. What did Sandesh tweet? Just 1 second. Let me just have a look, and then we can talk about it. See, without you guys, sometimes difficult to track what is all happening in the world. Let's see what this Sandesh, right? Historic issue of Indian sports begins now. National Sports Governance Bill 2000 brings ethics, equality, and athlete-led leadership to reform for ushering in clean elections, gender equality, safe sports, global standards, and real accountability. I would hope, the sports bill would actually stand for what Sandesh has written, but again, athlete-led is something to me which is always, to me, is nowadays an SOS sign, to be very, very honest with you guys. It is for me always when I say, oh, athlete-led, it's like, oops, is this the right way? So to me, not the smartest. Good evening, Trader Wala. Good evening, Shupriyo. And also good evening, Garen Rare. Welcome back, guys, to the channel. And welcome back here to Arunfoot. Aditya says, so it's either Khalid Constant and that other guy who was just included because the effort was to show that they actually went through every candidate, all 160 of them. Yeah. Okay. Again, Aditya, you have an opinion. As I said, you can have, but the question is what is happening, because there are, what I clearly understand is that there are multiple fronts in this discussion. There are certain sources who say that it's done, right? Some are saying it's still under discussion because there are strong opinions on one side. Let's say, I remember, I think a week ago, certain people told me, oh, you know what, it's done. It's either Khalid or it's Chandra Sen. And then Chandra Sen doesn't even make the final 3. Senior Habas was in there. So I know someone who said, oh, you know what, Habas could be a good one. So let's wait and see what happens. Tarkovic, I want to know actually how he got into that list. Would be very interesting to figure out and find out, because that is something which I found very interesting, that someone like him suddenly out of the blue appears and is put in. But I don't think it's because of the way it's done. But I think maybe agent influence, who knows. I vote Kalyan not for his work but for nostalgia. Okay, Khalid will be national team coach. It's all set because Jamshid Farsi is finding new coach. Then why AIFF did so many things to appoint a new coach? Interesting one, Trader Wala. If you are saying what is true, then my question would be, from what I have been hearing, is that certain people within the technical committee and also part of the technical department of the AIFF, people have been speaking about Stephen. So my question to you or to anyone would be, if it's true, then why would the technical department of the AIFF be, talking about it? That would be my question. So therefore, for me, I'm not sure. There are a lot of people who are talking about a lot of things, and sometimes there is no logic to it. The question is, if Khalid is going to be appointed, right, then this will hang over him. Oh, you know what? It was decided beforehand, and you've just been appointed, per se. So who are you backing on now? Ritabroto, if you ask me, I've said that in my videos. Guys, I always say, watch them. I think, they'll try to be informative in 5-6 minutes. That I would have chosen Stephen Constantine or Antonio Lopez Habas, because I think those two were the most qualified, given the realities, because I need someone to work. I think Tarkovic is a very good CV. If you look at his work in Slovakia, as also in Kyrgyz Republic, so therefore for me, good one. Same in a different way to Peter Sagat. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. It doesn't make a difference. India is the most dope nation in the world in terms of steroids. Owen Coyle is already having talks with General Force Management. It's going to be Khalid. Let's wait and see. Aditya, you guys seem to, as I told you the other day, you seem to know things without knowing things, because you're listening to what people are saying, right? Yesterday, I had 3 different top 3 lists being said to me before the official statement came out. And the one was Khalid, Stephen, Tarkovic. There's one which contained Renedy. There is a 3rd list which was out, which contained Chonjoy Sen and Habas. So therefore, I am very, very careful with all of this speculation until it is confirmed. So that's it. In other news, WWE star Hulk Hogan passed away at 71. Ochudya, big star during his days, did also stuff in movies and in TV series. Hulk Hogan. I'm a huge Stephen fan. I hope they make the right choice. I have reservations regarding Khalid. Does he have it in him to swim through the politics of AIFF? Ritabhato, it's not about the politics. Khalid Jamil is a former India international. So for me, that is not a question. I think Khalid has certain things the way he does, and I don't think he's the coach to be the national team coach. I think if anyone wants Khalid Jamil, the national team coach, then you don't know Khalid Jamil as a coach. That is the ignorance of people who don't know. And to me, again, last season, his team, if you take out Steven Eze and if you take out Javi Hernandez, they would have not reached the playoffs. So that is the Khalid, to me, would be another ISL appointment like Manolo, just that he's a much worse coach than a Manolo Marquez, because Manolo Marquez didn't understand that without the foreigners, his Indian players are worth half or even less than that. Today, Manvir Singh scored for Jamshedpur FC. From Ozone FC to Jamshedpur FC, his journey of loan killed his time, although he's quite talented. Hope he will get chances in ISL this season. Game rare, it's a pre-season tournament. The foreigners are not there yet. Therefore, an Indian striker is playing. He played at Mohammedan certain matches, limited impact, I would say, to be very honest. Hey, Matam Phenomen, I'm doing fine. Now that Habas out of contention, would you go for Constantine or some other choice? To me, Stephen is the best choice at this moment. If this was, as I said yesterday, if there was another phase, someone like a Tarkovic, would make sense. So therefore, it's Constantine all the way for me. Hey Roshan, hi Icon Lawn. If Khalid becomes our national team coached, and who will be the coach in Triple-C? Palash, again, look at the timeline here. A little above speculation is that Owen Coyle could be going back to Jamshedpur FC. Already that conversation has started. Let's give Stephen some time for the third stint. If it doesn't work out, you can always change in mid-2026. And that's what I've been saying in the last 2 days. I think that's the best thing. I think that's the challenge. I think that we would have to realize what is the right way forward. And to me, given the scenario, given the time, let's wait and see what happens. Hi, Kumar. Sir also wants Stephen to be national team coach, but the way technical community and AIFF president is directly saying this time we should hire a coach, sir. I just a supporter. It's just my assumption. Well, I understand what you're saying, and I think that is the point, that they have said it, that they wanted it. The question is it in their hands? So let's wait and see what happens. Stefan Tarkovic, a man who's been sacked 5 times in his career, has been shortlisted by the AIFF mainly because of his relatively low salary compared to Segat, another candidate. Good, Aditya. Then again, you know more than other people. Very nice. Again, you're making assumptions once again. You're not learning from what I've been telling you now the last few days, right? When will the coach be announced? Wait, the Supreme Court. Nobody knows. I know that the AIFF wants to make this relatively quickly. Supreme Court, so therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Any day I will choose Stephen. No disrespect to Jamil, but I have seen in ISL without foreigners, he struggles a lot, and with this set of players and his tactics, will get hammered by the opposition. I couldn't know exactly what my thinking is. I totally agree with you. I have a gut feeling that I will go for Constantine or Khalid as cut money appointment. Let's see, methamphetamine, is Khalid Jamil the first naturalized player of India? No. Palash, he was born in Kuwait, but he's always been Indian. He was an NRI, so he's not naturalized player. I thought VP Suhair was bought by Jamshedpur FC because Khalid Jamil is the coach. Yeah, Roshan, sometimes you do that and sometimes leaves, no? Pretty sure our dear old federation will choose either Brexit, stone chip, cement construction tactics, or Jamil's home-made Akash defense tactics. Okay. Every Indian wants Khalid for national team head coach except Jamshedpur FC fans, as we know how scared are we watching Jamshedpur FC play under him. Okay, Hannibal. Steven Tarkovic is coached in Europe. What's your take on him from your source or information from other colleague contacts? What they say about him? Kumar, if you look at it, he's Slovakia qualifying for the Euros, beating Poland in the Euros. But again, he had players in that 2021 Euros competition. So if I think he's dependent on a certain level of quality, right? And that's the question to me. If I look at it, I'm not sure if it's the same thing. If I look at other teams, right? So therefore, for me, the question is, at the end of the day, is it if I look at Slovakia, I'm just looking at Slovakia 1 second. Dubravka at the time was at Newcastle, right? We had Pekarek, who was playing at Hertha Berlin. You had Laszlo Benes, who's been playing in Germany. Milan Skriniar as a centre back, long time in Italy. David Hanko, who just today got transferred to Atletico Madrid. Marek Hamšík as their captain, long-time Napoli player. Yeah, Robert Mack played a long time here in Germany. So if I look at that squad that he had available and look at our squad, then there is no comparison. So again, and Kyrgyz Republic qualifying for the Asian Cup, that's also an achievement. Hey, Moino, good to see you back. I am doing fine. Hit the Jamshedpur had a full house today. What are you expecting from fans this year? Polish, I can't watch the Duran Cup, and I'm honestly not too bothered about the Duran Cup because I think we have other, so yeah. So therefore, Yeah, let's see. First natural guess is Arata. He did well with Reliance Foundation, Young Champs, and Interkashi. Hope to see him in another good youth project. Prithviraj, he is the first. He's not naturalized. He is the first overseas Indian to be given Indian citizenship. Naturalized in, for me, is more of a foreigner with no Indian roots to be given an Indian passport. So he is the first. Arata is the OG of PIOs, OCIs. Has Manju Wilder given up on playing for Germany? Didn't see much social media content of her following Euros and German team. Roshan, quite a while, no? I mean, I remember I met Manju, when was it? A couple of years back in Cologne. Um, uh, uh, um, and she wanted to play for India. I think, so therefore for me, yeah, I mean, she's in Portugal at the moment. I really don't understand, after giving so good performance in AFC Cup last time during team time, then why AIFF had sacked him. AIFF didn't sack him, he resigned. I remember after the game, after the Bahrain game, and there was footage. Sadly, I never saw the video. I suppose it was shown on television. There was footage of me crying in the stands, and then on the way back, I remember I traveled to the team hotel. I got a ride with I'm Vijayan, Subrata Datta, and Shonal Dhor in one of those cars, and Subrata Datta got the info Stephen had resigned. Stephen resigned at the press conference. During the press conference, he announced that he's stepping down as India coach. The AIFF couldn't react. The AIFF, I remember Subrata Datta was talking to us, with I'm Vijayan, with myself. Again, I was an outsider, but still I was part of the conversation. What do we do? And I said, I thought it was wrong, but yeah, So therefore that's it. What I just said facts about Tarkovic. I literally saw his stats and decided to share. I mean, this is why he shortlisted. Aditya, you're just proving you're not talking about knowledge, you're talking about stats. So the last two jobs in Slovakia and Kyrgyz Republic, you didn't do a good job, right? That's your logic, because you got fired 5 times. Right? You are sharing stats. You're not sharing facts. You don't know the coach. Is he the right one, wrong one? Is a different discussion. You are sharing information. What? One thing that Khalid and Tarkovic could be different, bring to the table is confidence, and doesn't, in your opinion, as a potential head coach, not taking current situation into account. For that, I don't know Tarkovic enough, to be able to say what does he bring on the table. One thing that he brings on the table, that he's played with the national team at a higher level, and that was Slovakia and Europe, which Stephen has never done, and Khalid is only coached in India, so therefore that conversation doesn't happen. What Khalid brings, I don't really know what he brings. Unawa, what I've learned, the following football, the track record of coaches in the past have to say so much if the coaches are right, but I understand the evaluation of Tarkovic's success rate. And Roshan, that's the problem, right? People read stats and people don't want to learn and understand that stats, yeah. It is, sometimes you will see coaches, or let's see, I've seen a lot of players, for example, coming to India, right? Who are of a certain standard, of a certain level, have played to a certain standard, to a certain level, and they bring a certain level of stats to India, and then you say, oh, this player is this player is that, and then, they start scoring. Aladdin Ajare, for example, had an exceptional season last year. So therefore, for me, reading stats is a nice thing, but also understanding a coach or a player quality, how he's in a group, could he function in your system? Those are the questions that you need to ask. I'm very, very careful about just reading pure stats. You actually got a lot of heat in Twitter because one of your clips got viral of you saying that no one is bothered about Duran Cup. Is it? No one tagged me. Okay. Nice. See, people, Aditya, I say what I think is right, and so for me, people can think what they want. I will say what I think is right or wrong. Right? And if the people don't agree to it, it's their problem. It's not my problem. Indian football at the moment has bigger problems than the bloody Durand Cup. The Indian army has not understood, with all due respect to the Indian army, that now is not the time to hold the tournament. You should have delayed the Durand Cup. But you are saying, oh, we are the Indian army, and, we hold it when we think is right. It is not the way. If you really want to, you say you want to promote young talent. I have organized or been part of organizing 2 Durand Cups myself. So I know what the reality is about the Indian army, right? So, yeah, what to say? Sorry, not natural. His dad was Indian. Both his parents are Indian, if I'm not wrong. I think Khalid, yeah. Another Khalid is a so-called top Indian coach. Why they do not go outside of India to prove him? Does he really have quality on also no proper prior experience in national football? Kumar, ask this to any Indian coach why he would not want to go abroad. Because at the end of the day, also the salary of Indian coaches are so good. Why would someone venture abroad for less money and much more pressure and you don't know if you're going to succeed? It's the same thing with players. The Indian system for the quality that we play overpays players, coaches at all levels. Yeah. So therefore that is my issue. And it's not even Khalid, about all of them. And international football experience, zero. Following football, the track record of coaches in the past, have to say, right, but I understand. Yeah. Not want to act like a toddler, but what does naturalize mean? Naturalize means, Aditya, if you are, I don't know, and country, whatever, X country, and you want to play for, let's take a good football example. You're a Brazilian. China, Russia, Germany, Spain, France, England, whatever wants you to play. Then you naturalize a player, give him citizenship, and let him play for your country. That is naturalization. From Curious Harry, heard that Jamil is in final discussion for coach, but coaches like Peter Sagan, I was not sure this is because if AIFF select Jamil over them, they will face criticism and financial burden. Shanlata, I've heard this from people as well, and Irene has told me this as well. And as far as I know, that's not the case. I can only say what I have been told. I know, and so to me, I can tell you something about Habas, but Habas, I don't think it's gonna. What I've been able to find out is it's not about money, right? And Peter Sagat, I don't even know what he wanted. The question is, even did the coaches also put in the money, quotations and said, I want this much, I want that much? That's the question. Or was it just a football discussion and then you followed up? So therefore, we'll have to wait and see. Khalid Jamil, for me, let's try an Indian coach. The team is already low, so give a new role to Jamil, your choice. No. Knowing Khalid, knowing the team, knowing the current situation, you just make it worse. No Indian, and this shows me the people who are deciding these things do not know anything about the Indian national team. Even people who have, yeah, that's the reality. So therefore, that's the thing. So let's see. What do you think of Shubhato Paul as national team director? Hannibal, he's been there just for a few weeks. Let Shubhato work for a few years, and then I think we can give an assessment of what he can do. Shubhato is a hardworking kid. I've been knowing him since he's 14, 15. I signed him at Mumbai City. crazy guy in training, I would say. Hardworking guy, but he will have to prove himself, right? At the moment, it looks good, but Subota will have to prove if he can do something big in the long term for himself and for India. Mas Pacheco, Filipino international signs for Everton women, born and raised in UK, and we might have them in AFC Asian Cup, AFC Women's Asian Cup group stage. Yeah. Ochut, the Philippines were one of the first nations in Asia to really focus on players of origin many years back, over a decade back, about players, especially here from Germany. Stefan Schröck was named a player playing at Greuther Fürth, Eintracht Frankfurt, and therefore, so therefore they've been doing this. And I remember 2019, now the late Sven-Göran Eriksson as their head coach in the Asian Cup. Actually, I met Sven-Göran Eriksson, really nice guy. So let's see. Why weren't Habas and Sega not the short? Is it mainly because of remuneration? Maheshwara, motion pictures, Sega, I don't know. It wasn't about money. That I can tell you. On top of understanding, technical committee shortlisted and they talk to consider what I don't understand the steps of this procedure. So Roshan, how I understand the process that this time around the AIFF has done. AIFF has done an open application, put it out into the world and said, if you're a coach, if you qualify for our criteria, please apply. The funny one is that if I take the qualifications that they wanted from the coaches, then a Khalid Jamil doesn't even qualify because he's never coached a national team. Yeah. And so therefore that's one that should be answered by the team. What I now understand is that the technical team, that means national team department, Shubhatu Pal and technical director Said Shabir Pasha, cut down those 170 to about 10-12 candidates. I don't know who those 10-12 candidates were, because there were names floating around who, as far as I know, who've not even applied. And Ranity Singh, for example, who was mentioned in an article by the Sports Star, and I checked explicitly, I can say this, I checked today with Ranity once and said, "Bhai, did you actually apply for the job?" No, I didn't. So I can quote that. So therefore, that's the point. So therefore, it was cut down from 170 to about 10-12 coaches. Those 10-12 coaches were discussed in this Zoom call, whatever, FaceTime meet or whatever it was, Google Meet. And from that, it was taken on to the next level, which was, okay, let's cut it down. The question was, and supposedly they said 3. I think Stephen was being pushed by a certain group of people. Khalid was being pushed by a certain group of people. And then for whatever reason, Tarkovic came in. And I would love to know who suggested Tarkovic into that top 3. That is something which will be interesting to find out. And who is his agent? I still haven't been able to. Is there some sort of link or something? Is there someone who's representing him, who's well known, and that's why? So that's the thing. Prithviraj says there's not much info in public is present for Stefan. Yeah, but again, for me, what I've seen, at least I remember him as a Slovakia coach, and I also remember him now, Kyrgyz Republic. Yeah. Let's see. Many people on different polls are divided narrowly on all 3 coaches. Someone once done as he did good with teams, some Jim because he was Indian, and some Tarkovic because has international exposure. Shamlata, what I'm going to say is going to hurt a lot of people. To me, it doesn't matter what kind of poll, what fans want. The AIFF, the people behind the AIFF have to take a decision what is in the best interest of Indian football, right? And if fans around the world, might come around and say, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Do the fans really know what is the right or the wrong thing to do? That would be my question, right? This whole Peter Sagat thing, right? Yeah, interesting profile. But what would the fans have said? Okay, Peter Sagat has made the Indian coach. And he turns out to be another eco-steamer for India. So therefore, for me, let the fans talk. Let them do. But those who are in those positions, they have to, so that's the thing. Saw on Wikipedia about the fact that he was fired 5 times. So yeah. See, Aditya, so you know nothing. You've just read it up somewhere. So that you know nothing about the coach. That was my point. I think Peter Sigurd might have been a good choice. He took Kyrgyzstan in the Asian Cup and did well. Ashish Negi said most folks in committee are fixated on Khalid. I've heard that as well, but I've also heard that there are certain key people in the committee who are dead against Khalid. So that was also a point. And Peter Sigurd, to me, I have to live to the reality where I am now. That's why I said, I did a video 2 days ago where I clearly said, I thought Stephen and Habas would be my best choices. I wouldn't even gone to a top 3. Those two, because to me, Stephen, because what he's done with the national team over the years, and on the other side, Habas, most successful coach in the last 10 years in Indian club football, winning the ISL multiple times, winning now the I-League. Both no-nonsense coaches. I think that is what the lesson is of the last 2 coaches. Yeah. So therefore, those would be my top 2 coaches. And let's see. Now that Takovich took the case of the 3rd round of the World Cup qualifiers and also beat Oman, China stepping in the 2nd round of World Cup qualifiers, what he achieved. Yeah, Kumar. That's why I said I'm not bothered about Kyrgyz Republic. I'm looking more at what he did with Slovakia, his home country, and that was good. No, that it was about Arata. Acha, Prithviraj, no, he was not naturalized because Arata's dad is an Indian. So, what's his Indian proper name? I think Neil Kamal, I think was the name, right? That is, I think, the name. With all due respect to Khalid Jamil, he's a great coach and architect. As an underdog story, does he have a plan for Indian team? Like he's going to manage big egos and cannot even bring his men? Aditya, at Aizawl, at all the clubs, he's had foreigners. This is my point. Why Manolo failed? Because Manolo thought and didn't understand that the level of his Indian players without the foreigners is much lower than it is. So therefore, for me, that's a big problem. Hey, Mihar, welcome back. Among 3 shortlisted coaches. For me, if you ask me, as I said, I would have 1 and 2, Stephen Constantine and Havas. I don't see anyone at the moment else that could have, if I look at the whole list, when I did that video 2 days ago, who did we all have a list? Khalid we had on the list, Stikos we had on the list, Harry Kewell, Havas Constantine. I said Peter Sigurd to me doesn't know Indian football. Lobera dependent on certain players who he can't sign. Sondra Sen hasn't coached properly at top level. Robbie Fowler doesn't count. That's why I said no. This is so therefore for me, to me none of them. Therefore for me it was. If you ask me, given the scenario, that's what I also said. I've been saying for the last 3-4 days, always. Give a contract till the end of the qualifiers, March 2026. So therefore, for me, yeah. Khalid's style is in a way defend and pray. Yeah. There is, yeah. And pray to whatever you can. So this is something, yeah. Hilo says, compromising AFC Asian Cup for long-term success is right step. No, I don't think so. Long-term, see, I think we need to learn one thing. A national team is never, ever a long-term project. Yeah. And, So to me, you have to look at what is your next aim or step. And for me, I'm thinking till March. At the moment, it looks Asian Cup more away than close. I have to find a solution. Steamach has done a certain damage to the team, let's be honest to it. Manolo has not been able to repair that. Now I need a short-term solution. And if you ask, and long-term, what is long-term? My long-term doesn't work in a national team, because if I've got 2 players injured in this setup, then I can throw my long-term, into the bin, right? I don't think so. Jamil's technical panel's decision, it is news. Adi, it is not news, it is speculation. Think in today's world. That's why I say to you guys, be always careful with what information is coming out. So therefore, the point here is, what I've heard, there are different factions. That's why I tweeted about it. There is a Khalid backing faction, but there's also a very strong Stephen Constantine backing faction. I still don't know how Stefan Tarkovic came into the discussion. I've not been able to figure that out. Yeah. So to me, that is the question. Let's wait and see what happens. To me, if Khalid gets it, everybody will say, oh, this was decided beforehand. I know that will be the point of discussion. But to me, also, Stephen has come into the mix. It's an interesting one, because a few days ago, no one would be sure if he actually would not be kept by the Pakistanis or not. But it seems that the new president, Mohsen Gilani, decided, you know what? We're trying something new. And I'm surprised that people are celebrating the Nobby Solano appointment in such a big way. I honestly don't know. Bigger name as a player than as a coach. Khalid is one trick pony, according to me. Yeah? Do you think Khalid as a head coach could be better to deal with Indian players, to call players, because at the end of the day, it's the players who decide the outcome of the game? I don't think so. I tell you, Anupam, I think that Khalid will not be able to reach to the players. And psychologically, he's lost to it, because some of the players think, yeah, kaun hai? Who is this guy? What does he know about football? This is what the technical committee has not understood. We are in a situation where the players, if we like it or not, there's a psychology behind it. The players rather listen to a foreigner than to a Desi coach. But I know that my friends were Desi coaches. No, I've got this results, I've got those results, and the foreigners don't have. No, guys. What, for 2, 3, 4, 5 matches? Yeah, that's nice. Ashish Negi said, within the committee, it's between Khalid and Constantine. Tarkovic is an asked choice between those 3. Yeah, that's what I have also been told. And Prithviraj says, Ashish Negi never said that committee members are fixated on Khalid, but there's a kind of pressure because him being one of the only Indian heading up a club at the top. Yeah, again, and I see this again. You and I don't know what the thought process in the head of an Ashish Negi is, and you're all trying to interpret it. Therefore, my only thing is just be respectful to that. No respect to Khalid, sir, but that if you put out the foreign players from 10% in there, can't go into the top 6 also. And I said, our salary is high, and AIFF can't afford that for now. I don't, as I've said, as far as I know, it wasn't about money on the Harper's front. With Pakistan's current result, do you think anyone will consider concern? Even he might think twice to do this when you have a president like Chaudhary. Adi, he's applied for the job. So that second question is not a starter. And a coach like Stephen, if you like it or not, or whoever, what other things, Stephen has had most of his success over the years in India. So there's a special connect for him with the country. And the Pakistan results, again, look at where Pakistan is coming from. He qualified, he won one, yes, people will say, but that one win was the most important win for Pakistan, looking at where they're coming from. Their diaspora players project has just started. I think if their diaspora players project really settles down, Pakistan will be a much, much tougher team to beat. The shortlist should have been way more than just 3 coaches. It's such a stupid decision, to be honest. I don't understand why the F is not in the shortlist. Segat. Rushabh, Segat to me is not a candidate. As I said to you, if you like it or not, to me, doesn't make the cut because he doesn't know Indian football. I'll jokingly say that I'm more qualified than Peter Segat to be the national coach of India. Because I've spent time with the national team over the years. And I'm not even a coach. That to me is if we were at the start of a cycle and we're preparing for the next cycle, I would have said, go in for a new coach. Then we could have had a discussion. Is a Segat a good coach? Is Tarkovic a good coach to start that new cycle? Other coaches whose names we don't even know who have applied. I know that, for example, a German coach, Anton Hey, had applied. Yeah. So that's it. Is CAS decision favoring Inter-Kash against AIFF a reason for Abbas missing final 3 list? See, Dark Knight, it is a technical committee meeting and it's not an EXCO meeting. It's not somewhere where the appeals committee is anywhere close. If you ask me, no. If you had said that the president is anyway involved, maybe I could have taken that as something that we can discuss, right? But to me, I would not say that it is. To me, Khalid is inexperienced national team coach. Consider will need time to build this team back again, which leaves Tarkovic was the least favorite in the committee, according to Ashish Negi. I would say 2 things. Khalid Jamil is not even inexperienced. He has no experience. He's just been a national team player, right? Stephen normally has taken time to build teams. But I think if given the scenario, Stephen can play some magic. I think that can work. Tarkovic, to me, doesn't know enough about Indian football. And again, the most difficult part for all these coaches is that the ISL will not be starting in September. So there is no proper preseason. The AIFF has a lack of money. When do you start training? Are we going to get to international friendlies in September? All these questions need to be asked. Does it mean that between September FIFA window and October FIFA window, when we're going to play Singapore, are you going to run a 1-month camp for the national team? So for me those are the questions that need to be asked. And if I know those realities, and I know that how Stephen used to work in 2002 and 2003, 2004, where Stephen, for example, once did a deal with Adidas. Stephen Constantine, as the head coach of the Indian national team, got us an Adidas deal for Adidas to kit us for a certain period of time. So therefore, let's see. I don't know why Tarkovic is chosen. Stephen Khalid are chosen because they know Indian soccer. I don't know. Yeah. We need constant as national coach, says Mayank. Tarkovic is interesting, but not super fit yet today. Ayush, that is my whole point. It is very interesting. If we are starting new, then I would have said, you know what, Tarkovic, Segat, get me 2-3 others into that list, new coaches, then we can discuss it. But at the moment, I need immediate results. I need someone who understands international football and someone who understands Indian football. Now that I hate the word Indian coaches are good enough, why they do not go outside of the country, prove that someone is wrong. Indian coaches should prove and talk. Kumar, I just explained to you, the problem is very, very simple. You know, the coaches are also well paid in India. The players' problem. Why would I'm well paid. I live in my own surroundings. Why would I go abroad to challenge myself where I could fail? Right? Tete are questioning Kalyan about neutrality of federation. Is this entry to presidential race? No, Anibal. I think Tete is what is Tete doing with that letter, which I find very, very right. The integrity and the qualification of the league committee was questioned in the CAS case by the AIFF, or the AIFF lawyers rather. Right? The league committee chairman is Tete Amar. So Tete is defending himself and all the other members of the league committee. The AIFF has thrown, in the name of the appeal committee, the league committee under the bus. In any other country, if such a situation would have happened, this would have led to mass resignations. Starting with the appeal committee, everyone would have, and top leadership of the AIFF. In India, in any organized football country, that would have happened. But in India, yeah. This could be a good reason to discuss Havas coach Interkashi, which didn't only won I-League but also won CAS. Even if AIFF pay money in this time of crisis, just a point of assumption. Aditya, again, that's why I'm saying assumption. Technical committee doesn't care. Right? To me, they don't care. And we discussed it, was it yesterday, day before? I think we discussed where I think that Havas is not rated that highly. Despite Havas is the most successful coach since the start of the ISL in 2014. Multiple time ISL winners, and now he's also won the I-League. But do people rate? Havas has a Constantine problem, I always say. Steven doesn't play the best football. Surely not. But Steven is pragmatic, is very clear, is realistic, and also strict. Right? Havas similar, maybe even tougher. But they're not rated. Yeah. So let's see. Adi answering Kumar says we need to move Chobe to do it and improve coaches. They will need at least AFC's highest license for it. They have the AFC's highest license. They are pro license holders. Adi, there is all the coaches at the top level have a AFC pro license. They don't need anything. This has nothing to do with Kalyan Chobe or not. It is on the coaches. The coaches don't want to go abroad. Guten Abend, Simon. Welcome back. So maybe this is why he's not shortlisted in top 3. This point just sounds so point too accurate. Yeah, Aditya, but learn one thing. In Indian football, most of the things are not logical. Now the Wikipedia can be edited multiple times. If I want to believe it is dead nail on head. Kumar, Wikipedia can be a first. I always feel not bad to have a good read through and then check it with another source, right? So therefore, that's what I would do. Ashish Negi poll took me by surprise. 37% voted for Takovit, 30% for Khalid, and 30% for Constantine. Pretty close. Simon, I honestly, I don't. Sorry, with all due respect to all the fans who voted, I don't take this seriously. The AIFF taking a decision on the national team coach should not be decided by the fans. Because the fan doesn't know how the system runs. Sorry to say that. You again, read the article yet, but Titema spoke out about AIFF considering Kaski. Yeah, Roshan, what he did, again, the AIFF defended itself in front of CAS and the appeal committee, but said, the league committee was wrong, and that's why the appeal committee rectified the mistake of the league committee. But the league committee didn't commit a mistake. So therefore, the AIFF lawyers threw the league committee under the bus in front of CAS, and this is being questioned by Tete Amar, and very, very rightly. Come on, the foreigner's argument works for every coach, be it Khalid or any foreign coach. Honestly, I don't think Habas would have worked. His style requires a foreigner, and Brand is not at his best. No, he doesn't need a foreigner. He will create a defensive setup, and if you understand how Habas has created defensive players over the years in the ISL, then you would see that. And just look at the way Habas took Bolivia many, many years back. Yes, you would say nearly 30 years back, but it took for Bolivia, a strong team, but for South American standards, an average, to the final of Copa America. Hey, Shaggy, one simple question. Is AIFF in any position to give long-term contracts, or is this another short-term affair with coach selection? Shaggy, nobody knows. No one has said what, to me, if it's a short or long-term contract. But my logic is, if I look at this shortlist, I would say it's a short-term contract till the end of the Asian Cup qualifiers. Hey, Yuvraj, I'm doing fine. Yeah, much better. Fit again. Was just a couple of days a little bit under the weather. Today, Jamshedpur was being cooked by unprofessional footballers team. Yeah, 3-2 they beat the Nepali army team, right? Yeah. Holding on to Steamach after Asian Cup afterwards seems like a mistake. Roshan, I'll tell you something. I felt 2021. So therefore, for me, I would have thought 2021. I felt that he couldn't handle the whole situation in and around COVID. Compromising Asian Cup, so what will we prepare for SAF Cup? Hannibal, SAF Cup is a different thing, but to me, in the next 8-9 months, we've got the Asian Cup qualifiers, and that counts. I think it's very difficult to qualify right now with Khalid. He's going to take time. So yeah, I think it's going to be constant, although both of them play outdated football, but we cannot look into that. Aditya, what is outdated? We need results. There is no outdated football, right? If you look at the way teams play or don't play, right? If I take, for example, yesterday, Spain versus Germany, yeah, in the women's Euros, Spain much better possession, this and that. But if I'm honest, Germany actually had the better chances over the 120 minutes. So all that tiki-taka that Spain played, if Germany was a bit more clinical, they would have most probably won the game, right? And if Ann-Katrin Berger, exceptional tournament, doesn't keep that open, Bonmati doesn't score. But that's football. So what style? Outdated, this, that. There is no outdated style. People say, oh, this is whatever. Football changes all the time. Kyrgyzstan has started fielding diaspora players, let's be real. Hannibal, they've been fielding diaspora players for I don't know how many donkey's years. They've got these Russian Germans, right? There's former Germans living in the Central Asian region who moved back to Germany, and those players are playing Kyrgyz Republic. Some have played Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan. Yeah. I have a feeling technical committee goes with Stephen, tried and tested by AIFF. If anything goes sideways, at least they can say, look, it's all about players who are bad. Even a proven Indian coach can't help. Interesting, Yuvraj. You're thinking on my lines. I've got the same thoughts process as you. You'll just have to see that if the AIFF actually does it or doesn't do it. But I have the same feeling as that as well. Oh, realizing already 55 minutes on this live. Went quickly today. Didn't realize that we are so quick. If you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. 14 likes so far. I think we can do much better. Well, last few days, always at least 30, 35 likes. Share it with other people. So therefore, do that. And if you're new to the channel, haven't subscribed, do subscribe to the channel. We're at 2,784. And if you're new, join our conversations and also subscribe to the channel. The question is, do Indian national team players who respect Khalid Jamil, Indian coach? No, they won't, Aditya. That's what I said. I don't think I think that's the understanding that you had. I have seen two Indian coaches, no, three Indian coaches over the years. One was respected, and the two others, in private, they were showing the coach the middle finger, so to say, the way they're behaving. Wasn't Solano coaching 7th-tier English system? Yeah, but the 7th-tier English system. Do you think a foreign coach gets more wishes done than an Indian coach? I remember Novak Djokovic said that in an interview when he was alive. Roshan, there are two sides of this, and I don't want to contradict my good old friend, the late Novi Kapadia. I don't think so. But the foreign coaches also demand more. That is the difference. I remember we had this discussion during a Duran Cup in Delhi, when I said to Novi, you know what, the problem is that an Indian coach makes demands. Yes, some will get fulfilled, a lot will not get fulfilled with the AIFF. But you know what? The foreign coach makes 3, 4, 5, 6 times more demands, and therefore you have a feeling that more of his demands are met. And I remember Stephen Constantine, when he came in, the demands were not about Stephen. Same thing about Bob Houghton. The demands always were in the name of the players. I remember this time, 25 years ago, we were with the English team in England. I was talking about this earlier today with a couple of players who were there at the time. That the 2000 tour of England changed the perspective of the players of how you prepare yourself for a football game, how you take care of yourself. That's the first time they saw that in England, how they do that. Again, that Fulham match was an interesting one, especially, we had time to interact with them. Kept in good facilities, staying at the Kiel University, it was great, it was brilliant. 2001, when we beat the UE, Indian football team for the first time stayed in a 5-star hotel, right? I mean, might seem too much with some people, but that's the way it is. A lot of things, and that was under Sukhvinder Singh. But Suki Paji, and to some extent myself, I remember I had a conversation with Albert Colasso, said, if you provide things, you will get results. Albert Colasso understood and did that. I did ask Ashish about his view on the current situation. He's still optimistic. What he said is still spinning around with possibility of something worse. Simon, same here. Ashish belongs to the class of people who want the best for Indian football. But we know that it could go this way or could go that way. And again, I'm one of the few, or maybe the only one, who always says, things could get worse. So therefore, for me, we all in that. We want the best for Indian football. Listen, wouldn't we all would like to see India play in a World Cup? Of course we would like to. We're now thinking if we're going to get into the Asian Cup, right? And forget that, the AIFF could be banned, the normalization could be, a lot of things can happen. And we could be in a much worse situation in the next few weeks. My biggest fear is looking at the current scenario, that we're not going to finish the Asian Cup qualifiers, and that we will not play the AFC Women's Asian Cup next year because we're going to get banned. My biggest fear. I'm telling you this today. And we will speak each other, hopefully not in March. Let's see. So I've heard things that people won't like Khalid at AIFF because they have got some or the other reason with him, mainly around personality and action and personal capacity. Yuvraj, yeah, there are a lot of reasons to question. Why does it work in Jamshedpur? Because Jamshedpur is an old Mumbai FC setup. If you look at the setup at Jamshedpur FC at the moment, there are a lot of people who over a decade back were with Mumbai FC, not Mumbai City, Mumbai FC, the I League team, which was owned by the Z Group. Yeah, so therefore it works over there. We should have played a gambit here, but again, Khalid is himself a big gambit player. Therefore, let's see who AIFF said. Let's see. How to rate Antoine Hai, ex-Myanmar coach, just asking. Simon, interesting coach. Worked in very difficult circumstances. So therefore, for me, someone I would have liked to, think, bringing someone like him in. Why not? To me, yeah. Pakistan Dashboard players were egoistic and ill-disciplined, so most of them were never called for Pakistan national team. Hannibal, who's telling you this? Again, heard something, read something. Again, I spoke to some of them last week, and then they will tell you something different, right? And tell me, how is that German coach who applied? We just spoke about Antoine Hey, ex-Bundesliga player. Yeah, interesting option. Marcus also expressed shock at Havertz not being in top three. My hunch, either high salaries or he wanted to coach both Indian national team and Kashi. But again, given AIFF, God knows its cast despite ex-co being different from technical committee. Yuvraj, in my understanding, it's none. It has nothing to do with double role. It has nothing to do with high salaries, and it has nothing to do with Interkashi. As I said, I think that he's not rated that highly. Salary, I can confirm to you, salary is not the talking point. I can't say all, but from what I know, and Interkashi and national team, knowing him, he would have picked one of them, and that would have been the national team. I don't think the casting is a topic for the technical committee. It's not even a question in the EXCO. It's a question of the appeals committee and to some extent, most probably of the president. Right? So this is what you need to understand. 1 month back, Khalid was fixed because of money. Khalid is used to play with young, lesser known players. Many of the senior players will be out, surely. Chandra, if your logic applies, then look at who the players that Jamshedpur FC have been signing this year. If you say that he banks on, who has he signed, right? He's signed David Lalimpuya, he signed Shartak Goloi, he signed Vinci Barreto, he signed Calvin Barreto, he signed Jayesh Rane and Nishu Kumar. So if you look at Jamshedpur FC signing, then that doesn't make sense from what you're saying, right? That he always has certain players that he trusts and believes. Albino Gomes, who's now at Jamshedpur FC, was a player of his at Aizawl FC and before that at Mumbai FC. Jayesh Rane, Mumbai FC, Aizawl FC, now Jamshedpur FC. Ashutosh Mehta, Mumbai FC, Aizawl FC, Jamshedpur FC. So this logic of young doesn't work for me. People should research before saying about Khalid. He had difficult times with Northeast United FC and Bangalore United. If these are the final three, then Steven is definitely the best bet with the matches we have. Yeah. That's my point, Shaggy. He failed at East Bengal and Mohun Bagan to add on top of that. And at East Bengal, it was really bizarre circumstances. If AIFF is not having funds, they must arrange good friendlies for national team. But Giran Rare, if you say AIFF don't have funds, they must arrange good friendlies, but for good friendlies, you need money. What are we going to do? This or that? I mean, if they don't have money for league and all. Yeah, but Giran Rare, if they don't have money in league and all, they don't have money for the national team as well, right? What was the annual costing of conducting I-League? Deepak, honestly, I don't have that number. Or, yeah, I don't have a number at the moment. The others deal story seems interesting. Would love to hear it or read about it in detail. Prithviraj, again, there is not much detail. Those days it was relatively simple. India didn't have a kitting partner. Someone had an idea. I remember I approached Adidas on my own. Got no reply. Steven had a contact. That guy said, yeah, why not? And then a few weeks later, India was being kitted by Adidas. Nothing big to talk about. Looks like Sir Cascade has widely open factions inside AIFF. No, Yuvraj, I don't think so. It is just that certain things have happened in the AIFF and certain people were not aware about it. And yeah, that's what has happened. I said suspended with MRA nowhere to be seen, to be agreed upon. Supreme Court judgment hasn't been given yet. FIFA ban is lurking around, and new coach coming at a really worrying time. Indian football is doomed. Rishabh, if one reads your words in one sentence, it sounds very, very bad. Yeah, that's the reality of where we are at this moment in time. Yeah, sadly. Habas is not rated that highly. What is rated highly in India? Aditya, I'm just saying what I've learned over the years. I know that people don't rate him highly, but if I will always give him the credit on how in season 1 he, and after that a few times more, but especially in season 10, Mohan Bagan and Juan Ferrando, again same team. He just brought in Yuoni Kauko. Deepak Tangri was fit, and those guys sorted out defensive midfield, and he got his results and won, right? The league shield, right? So, yeah. Right, 1 hour and 7 minutes. Let me quickly have a sip. Sorry, I have to get ready. Play a little football later on. And how about that downgrading of Habas and Constant is not an Indian thing. I remember how Edin Terzic in his Dortmund time got scolded because it's not beautiful football. It's not just about beautiful football. It's about the way you also perceived, right? I think a Mourinho is always going to be respected, but people will never like his football, right? So therefore, that's something which I would say is always difficult, and that's the challenge. That's the challenge that we face at the moment. Said at the moment, barely care who gets the head coach post. We will win it all as Kalyan Chaube will develop either of the 3 under Kalyan Chaube, international head coach, go Pep Guardiola, Banao, crash course, Yojana. Yeah, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Mourinho, I don't know. He could do that. Yuvraj. Pakistan qualified for AFC Asian Cup qualifiers second round for the first time under Steve Gandhi leadership. He was facing FIFA ban and mismanagement. Yeah. Therefore, Dark Knight, this whole thing about, his results in Pakistan are not good. One has to look at the realities of what he had to face over there, right? Over now, where's the money for long term? There is none. I think the AIFF at the moment needs to look at surviving till December and then, go around with a begging bowl and hope someone is going to give them crores of money. Habas can do things which are beyond imagination. Key Kashi players were ruled out for max part of the season, yet we defended, we scored, and God knows how Mr. Dadu got us number 1. See, and this is coming from an Inter Kashi fan. And I remember I was there in Kalyani when Inter Kashi played Gokulam Kerala, right? Crazy game of football. Inter Kashi in the end win 3-2. Habas had huge argument with the Gokulam coach, forgot his name, used to coach Churchill in the past, so I forgot his name, also Spanish coach, who seems to have abused his wife. His wife even got up, I remember, ma'am, please stay here. He's a coach through and through. And what people forget, people like Steven, people like Habas, who've worked so many years in India, they have a certain love and, and connection to the country. Even a Manolo didn't get us the results, but Manolo has a connection to India now. Maybe some people will not understand it, but I understand it as someone born and brought up here in Germany with Indian roots. But I've even when I've worked in projects for say in other parts of the world, it's you get a connection sometimes to those places, countries. Dada, whenever we meet in Mumbai, I'll have a long list of questions for you, which you didn't answer in live streams, but the first one would be of Khalid Jamil. You got to tell me what's up with him behind the scenes. Rishabh, what I say here, I will also not speak in private. Play Stone Age football tactics, but win and qualify for AFC Asian Cup. Dark Knight, that's it. That's the thing, right? Now Germany had better chances, but these were more randomly yesterday. Roshan, it doesn't matter if it's randomly. I give Spain 75% of the ball possession, but if I have the better chances, and they were lucky on 1 or 2 occasions, I have still questions about that penalty where the replay has not been shown properly. right? I have a feeling UEFA was yesterday not willing to show that handball in the box for Germany, because to me it was a handball in the way the hand is off, and because they know that that would be the biggest scandal in European football if for a second time a Germany would have been cheated against Spain, and especially after the refereeing England versus Italy, where it was a daylight robbery, right? Daylight. If that is a 118-minute penalty, then you should be giving 15 penalties a match. The English committed 15 fouls and always hitting Achilles tendon. They didn't even get one yellow card, and Italy gets 3 for some simple fouls. This is my problem, Roshan, with this whole UEFA Euro thing at the moment in the last few years. Right? Sorry. Yes, I agree. We're in no position to judge such matters, but it was an opinion-based poll. If you ask me, I would rather get a coach with prior Indian football experience than a new coach altogether. Simon, that's my whole point. Darkovic, at the start of his cycle, very interesting profile. Very interesting profile. And someone who can build a team. But at this time in time, it is not building a team. It is getting immediate results. Right? So therefore, to me, 2 candidates, Steven Constantine, Antonio Lopez Navas. Very simple. Nobody else comes in. Right? Because the AIFF, I remember, also said, you know what? We want a coach with certain international experience. Then how does Khalid come into the picture at all? You know? So that's it. Kyrgyzstan also use naturalized players like Joel Kojo. Yeah, Roshan, they've done. No? They've gotten some of these African and Brazilians have also played in Central Asia. In India, we know only one thing, and that is to throw others under the bus. Yeah, very sad. Simon says, yeah, to Roshan, they naturalized Africans who came here for better livelihood, much like the time when we had a fair share of Africans who came here for study but turned footballers instead. Yeah, Simon, but Chima Okiri in the 80s and 90s wanted to play for India. Chima never got Indian citizenship. Chima even married an Indian woman and is still living in Kolkata. Barreto, Jose Ramirez Barreto, still living in India. I think Barreto would have taken, would have played for India. No chance to play for Brazil. Player show middle finger to the coach. Come on, can I tell about it? No, I can't, Aditya. Again, does happen. Not only happens with an Indian national team, Indian football happens elsewhere as well. But yeah, only AIFF can pull it off. Out of 170 managers from Legends to achieve a select 3 such managers, now we are fighting to go for one who we got off years back. Yeah, but to me, again, if I look at the list, the one who left us 6.5 years back on his own because he resigned, again, he was not sacked, is the best option at the moment, given that those were chosen. Do you think Sunil being in starting 11 will be part of coach selection? I felt watching qualifiers that Sunil's presence on field players seemed demotivated instead of being motivated. Didn't we play worse when Sunil was not there? I don't know, Anupam. You know. So your views on not Mr. Mrs. Valanka. Complained for Kashi in last EXCO meeting, if you remember, only if it's okay to tell here, because I came to know that she said so. Just wanted to know prejudice or frustration by ma'am. Yuvraj, I was not there, so it's very difficult to interpret why. But again, she is the whole Alamao family fights for their club. I give them that. Yeah? I will not take that away, that the Alamao family fights, does whatever they can for this football team. I mean, this is the only family-run football team that I know of at the top level, or okay, now it's second tier, but it's a top professional level in world football. But sometimes they go over the top. So therefore, for me, this is unfortunate. Constantine can be overly stubborn at times. If a player has a bad attitude, he won't pick them again. He said in an interview he didn't pick a really good Pakistan desperate player for obvious reasons. Yeah. Rishabh, it's about Adil Nabi, and Adil Nabi was not willing to agree to certain things. Again, it's not a one-sided thing. If the player is smart, the player will, it has happened with some Indian players as well. And I know from multiple players that they and Steven sorted it out. So therefore, it can be sorted out. It's a question of if you're wanting it or willing it and doing it in the right way, and that's the problem. Have you felt Indian kids live in delusional worlds? Some of them think they can make it big in Europe, but rather they are far from making it into an ISL side. Yes, when it's the kids, their parents. I mean, I know parents who ask me that they want their kids to be playing in the academy of an European football club, and then I have to give them the reality check that they're nowhere near. What's Rishabh Pant, cricketer? Okay, kicking football at Carrington and hitting nets. I think we need to appoint the person who trained these cricketers as an Indian national team head coach, or for the crash course at least. Okay. Yeah, I saw those pictures of India and Man United together. Again, it's in both are kitted by German kit manufacturer Adidas. So I guess they did the collab for to promote, so to say, the Adidas brand, both in I don't know if it was any value in England, but I guess in India it is of value. But yeah. Do you believe Constantine has the capability to chalk out a new strategy playing style if he's in, considering the playing style has evolved since he left in 2019? Can he prove the tactic critics wrong? Meshwara, motion pictures, I don't think he needs to create a new playing style. It is about results. So it is about grinding out results. I don't care, so for me, he will get us the right, for what he will think is the right strategy. Will it give us the results? I do not know. But I do know that Steven will do everything in his power if he's appointed to get India to the Asian Cup. Because also, do not forget, Steven Constantine with the Indian national team has unfinished business at the Asian Cup. Steven Constantine in India should have qualified for the knockout stages in 2019. We should have. We were so good in the first two matches, especially in the first 30 minutes against the UAE. We controlled and dominated the UAE, right? 40 plus thousand in the stadium, more than 30,000 people in the ground. Brilliant. So therefore, he miscoached India against Bahrain. He was too defensive. And I think he and the team were scared of the potential success. And that is something which is an urge for Steven, to do it for himself, for Indian football, and for the national team. So this is an urge, which I think is also should be remembered. I had some neighborhood mates, they say the system stopped them from being a pro. They say if they were born in Europe, they would be playing in Premier League, but reality is often something else. They don't understand how much work goes in to be a pro. No? All of them wants to do jugaad and, walk in. So we headed this X campaign to get Hava sacked after poor results, but throughout he showed his passion towards the team. Apologies to legend of the game. Yeah, Yuvraj, again, fans, see, passion is involved. You want the best for your team. And if you think something is wrong, you want to get it changed. I understand that. But for the people running a team, for the coach, they have to keep a cool head. And Havas knows how to grind out results. You've said yourself, if I look back, how many people were injured, this, that, everything. If he didn't have that, we wouldn't be having the discussion. Interkashi would have had a cakewalk in the I-League. Yes, sir, exactly. The international experience AIFF is beyond understanding and beyond explanation. You feel like give up, but then you realize no, OTT subscription give you this thrill for free. Yeah, very true. Anavada, thank you for taking all the questions. Take care and hope to catch you on your next stream. Bye, Anupam. See you soon. Otis Khan also got also kicked out, considering as a no-nonsense coach that's ready now for the last 4 qualifying matches. Exactly, Roshan. With no disrespect to Khalid, but when it comes to heading in the national team, I would any day take sleeping pills over Mr. Khalid. I hope he proves me terribly wrong if selected. Yuvraj, I'm not sure. And I'll say this as a joke, but I have more experience hanging around the Indian national team than Khalid has. I'm not even a coach. Simon says Khalid, he would guarantee us a Pranay Halda and Saurav Das in midfield, Albino for goalkeeping duties, Ashutosh Mehta and Pratik Chaudhary at the back. Yeah, Simon, interesting. Gokulam Kerala FC appoint Derek Pereira as technical director. Ranjan Chaudhary and Derek Pereira at the same club again after Pune FC. What's your take? Also, they have appointed Ramvichan for women's team. Is Ranjan Chaudhary still there? I thought wasn't Ranjan Chaudhary last season with the women's team? Is he still there? Has he moved to the academy, Nadeem? I don't know. Pasi won I-League with Kashi the same year. Mr. Constant said, is all set to be back. Can't be a coincidence. That's a very interesting one. Sumit Pasi actually, good season overall. Khalid's a good coach, no doubt, but only in Indian circuit. International man management is a whole new world altogether. And that is what I'm questioning. Is he really a good coach, or does he have a little bit of luck factor? I'm not sure. Constant 2014-15 struggled initially in World Cup qualifiers, but after SAF 2015 slowly got the results. Nadeem, he needed time to settle down. He made some changes. Let's see. I don't trust anyone in Indian football anymore. Once I thought Kalyan will be good, he became worst ever. I felt Ranji Punjab is good and his World Cup tournament match now, that too. Yeah. About time we got Pasi back, says Simon. I remember Constant had told an interview with Ashish Negi, the players didn't follow his instruction for the Bahrain match, and they played like this. Roshan, I remember that interview, and I know what he said, but I know that what he said before and what the team did and said, and therefore for me, it made no sense. To me, Stephen, for example, Anas Edathodika injured himself in the warm-up, and I directly said he's out. But Anas tried, didn't train properly anymore in the warm-up, came on, and he was off after 2 minutes. And at that time, we had 3 substitutions. That third substitution killed us because in the end, Pranay Halda was done, but he couldn't take him off because the 3 substitutions were done. And then Pranay committed the foul in the 90th minute. So Stephen has to take some of that blame. There were more shouts for Constant Ranaut than any other coaches. Yeah, Nadeem, but Nadeem, our fans think we can play possession football, right? We think India can play possession football. We can talk about a lot of things, but we cannot talk in connection with the Indian national team about possession football. We are not in a position to play possession football. We're not of that quality at this moment in time. So we have to be honest to ourselves. How good, how bad are we? So therefore, for me, we will have to see. And at this moment, if I look at the whole scenario, Stephen, by far our best choice. So watching 14 years of football, I've never believed the fact that this low block, boring football can get you a title. But Dadu just gave me a reality check of a decade, man, oh man. Yuvraj, that's how he won the ISL multiple times. Don't forget that. So I heard some news, Gokulam Kerala being served with this registration banned by AIFF. Is that true? I've heard something as well. There are a lot of bans flying around left, right, and center at the moment on Indian clubs. Mohammed Sporting, I think, was one. Hyderabad still had to clear someone's money. I think they've done that. And other teams, I think in the I-League and I-League 2, there were some bans. So yeah, that's also something. For the coming AFC qualifying games, sir, in my opinion, the head coach must go all in, no fear, because at the moment, all we need is AFC sport. Time is less. Fear can't be resorted to. I agree on that on one side, but we have to be smart. If we play all in, you need one goal, right? I need what we need at the moment is stability at the back and penetration in the front. Very simple. That is what I would say we need at this moment in time. Everything else we can discuss, everything else we can think about. But at this moment in time, I need a system which works for me, works for us, where we are going to get the result that is going to do the work that we can win, and then we can take it forward. Otherwise, it's not going to work. I have had a shot my foot moment trusting the Kalyan Shahji committee for the AIFF post. How silly me. Simon, I said in 2022, sitting in Football House, when this whole FIFA, AFC, AIFF conversations were going on with the COA, I said in front of the COA, I said in front of Ranjit Bajaj, Shaji Prabhakaran, Tete Amar, understand law of sports, law of the land, look at the AIFF constitution. None of them listened, right? They all tried to do backroom politics. This is the outcome. At the moment, we see what happened in the last 34 months. If you have a lack of understanding of what governance is in sports, and that's the reality. Sumit passes all said, waiting for a green light, just need Stephen at the end of affairs, says Yuvraj. Peter Segat, in your opinion, Koko has done a good job with Afghanistan, with Maldives, and with Tajikistan. But I don't think, given the current realities, he would be the right coach for India. If I was at the start of a new window of national team, then I would look at him, and even Tarkovic, to me, those two are very interesting profiles to think about. So multiple news agency reports are not Churchill Brothers not paying the player salary full yet. Have you got any news? Yuvraj, the most normal thing every season. They pay you, then they don't pay you for a few months, then they pay you, because it depends how the money is coming in and how they're paying. It's a family club. So, but normally they clear this stuff. They sometimes have a problem with their African players. Then those players, yeah. And then it's cleared. From Constantine out to bring Constantine back, I've come a long way. If I remember correctly, Albert Roca had applied for Indian job after Constantine was they selected Igor suspiciously. Yeah, I'm very, very right. What was reaction of CEO and Ranjit when you told FIFA will ban India? No, they will not. Never will not happen. I've told this on this channel multiple times. I've said a lot of things over the last 25 years to people with basic football understanding. I'm not even going that I'm this, I'm that, or whatever. With basic football understanding, I try to explain to people what I think is right or what is wrong. And a lot of people have, over the years, told me again and again and again, no, this is not right, that is not right. Right? One gentleman of the CEO actually laughed in my face, we are India, why will they ban us? Because these people do not even understand that for FIFA, it makes no difference if it is the Republic of India, if it is a Spain, a Brazil, some country in Africa. Brazil was threatened last year twice of FIFA ban when their Supreme Court got involved with the running of the CBF. Spain, that whole incident surrounding the kissing incident of their president. FIFA ethics, FIFA got involved. We're talking about Spain, right? So these people did not understand, and still today do not understand, that the law of sports stands the law above law of the land. This is why the AIFF also lost 2 cases in CAS. So that's the reality. Sandesh Jingam promoting the new sports bill. Your opinion on that? Roshan, I read it at the start of the season. start of this live. I have said what I've said in regard to the new national sports bill. I have a lot of doubt on that because it gives me a feel that it is sort of a let me try and control the sporting bodies power to the national government. You know, and yeah. So therefore, this whole ex-players thing is my biggest worry. I've always said this ex-players, this whole thing, the people who've been fighting for that, Kalyan Chaube and PT Usha in their respective positions are just to prove ex-players. No, I want sports management professionals, people who understand to run sports. Otherwise, India has no chance. This mess will continue. Bahrain was very good side then, drew with UAE, took Korea to extra time 2019. Our fans think they're easy opponents. We almost did the job, as you said. Anas injury and subs cost. Yeah, Nadeem, but if Anas injury didn't happen, yeah, it would have worked. And as you add, also expected UAE to defeat Thailand. No, Thailand after the India defeat fired their manager, right? They fired the head coach and then got someone new in, and they turned the tournament around. I skipped the sports bill from government. What was they say about? Goku, the sports bill is supposed to give a structure of how to run national sports federations, and also gives a certain level of control to the government. It gives too much influence, I feel, on athletes. I'm not that big a fan of that. And also gives that feeling of it doesn't work. Simon system, that shows where our level fallen into. We were aspiring for good football, but after the constant ball success. But here we are going full circle back to Stephen. How wonderful. Simon, I think, we always forget that when Stephen left, his team played the best football that I've seen a Stephen team play, right? We're forgetting that Stephen's team in the Asian Cup played the best football that I've seen ever of a Stephen Constantine team play. I again say, second half versus Thailand, first 30 minutes versus UAE is the best what I've seen, not only under Stephen, but under a lot of coaches, right? And therefore, I think if Stephen had stayed, he could have taken India to the next level. I think that. I remember Nigeria was threatened in 2010 with ban when Nigerian PM wanted to resolve Nigerian FA. Groshan, that's happened to them. I think in Kenya, the sports minister wanted to got the problem. It has happened in a lot of countries, right? South America, it's happened. So Asia, it's happened. It does. Hey, Debu, just give me your opinion on the 3 national team probable coaches. They will, like I say to everybody else, I've actually done a short video on this. Just go and watch it. 6 minutes. It explains to you what my thinking is about the 3 coaches. And nothing has changed. I've done 3 videos over the last 3 days on that topic. You guys can pick it up. And simply to add to you, there's one choice amongst the ones mentioned. Stephen Constantine. There is no other one that I would think. Tarkovic has no India experience, and you need that. You need immediate results. And Khalid has no international experience, and yeah. M says, never trust ex-players. At the end of the day, everyone will look to fill their pockets. Best option would to give the power to those people who have something to lose. If bad management, FSTL or clubs are best. I don't know if the clubs and FSTL are the best. I think, and not to lose, I think the point is these guys are already losing a lot of money, right? Not losing a lot of money. They've most probably lost more than 5,000 crores, right? And the right people who, to me, the right people are the ones on one side who've got the connections, the contacts, but also those who have the knowledge and understanding. To me, knowledge is worth more than money. And we lack that, an understanding of football, governance, and of course also networks. So those things are very, very important. Sorry, Constantine, sir, I was too much in Delulu in 2019 thinking we are good and need new coach. Trust Stephen was the best choice then and even now. It looks like it. We are not in a position, as I say, in my opinion, to try out something at this moment in time where we, you know, that this perception of Stephen Ball, the way Stephen played, if he has better players, he'll most probably play differently. That's also a fact. And I also say, as another good example is to me, I feel Stephen, if he had stayed longer at East Bengal and East Bengal realized what they could have done with Stephen, maybe they would have gotten better results. So take this as a compliment. I can honestly say you have made me quite matured in the understanding of Indian football, which I needed. Your perspectives, thought process is very unique to Indian football. Simon, thank you very, very much. Very honored. I love when I hear these things that you guys are understanding from where I'm coming from. I don't want to be a teacher-like or a preacher-like person, but sometimes I have to get to that because I always say I speak from experience. I'm not speculating, right? To me, that is very, very important. And otherwise, and yeah, that's why for me, I want to speak to you guys. I want more people to understand where we're coming from, what we need to do, what we have to change if we want to take Indian football to a different level. So I try and do my things at different levels. I've done a lot of things. My mistake most probably was I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I did a lot of stuff also via indianfootball.com or via arunfoot.com, and I didn't shift to this audiovisual platform early enough. I should have done it during COVID. So yeah, that's the thing. Devu says, I was disappointed once again after Havas got turned down for the second time. Won't be disappointed if Stephen gets chosen, but if it doesn't, rest in peace, says Devu. Good night, Yuvraj. Also, you take care. No jokes today. But again, in case if you feel low, just remember that there are people who generally feel Ranjit Bajaj is a saint and will revolutionize Indian football. Oops. Why people so much caring about style? We are not anywhere near playing a style. Just park the bus, counter, and channel results. Yeah. But you know what, Renal? One thing we need to understand, we are not a team which can park the bus. I don't have a defensive setup which at the moment can park the bus. Right? So I have to find something, how we can do it. So big thank you for your contributions. Keep going. Thanks. I will, to me, I will try and do whatever I can, little or big. I will try and do in what is in my capacity, and yeah, if it works out, if people realize that, great. And that's why I say I need your support, guys, to grow the community. More people need to join us in our conversations, maybe even more than what other people are doing. But again, it's growing slowly, as I said today. Like, share, and subscribe. 24 likes. Share it with other people. If you are new, you're liking the conversation, do subscribe to the channel. 2,787 now, and watch the short videos. I need this traction. You guys, the more you watch, the more other people will. And I also see, that more people will then be shown what I'm doing here, right? So yeah, watch it, because a lot of the questions that you're asking, I try and answer in 5-6 minutes. Maybe take the time, watch those videos, and it gives you an insight. Maybe even I've told a couple of guys who've reached out to me directly. I've said, guys, watch the short videos and then ask your questions, because then I think those 5-6 videos of mine, I try and answer a lot of those questions and that you ask. Take a little bit of time, and then I will try and answer your questions. And then, because we can then maybe go a little bit more in depth into those conversations if you're already a little bit more informed than you maybe were before. There are some sports management specialists who doesn't know the special context of India, the size, diversity. Those guys who did their courses abroad think they do their European know-how here. Nadeem, there are those people and those people. But if I look at people who have come in, who have a certain understanding? Do you want a sports management guy who at least understands a little bit of sports? Or do you want a politician, a businessman, or an ex-athlete? I will always go for the sportsman. The sportsman guy might be a little unrealistic at the start, but if he's got some reality, if he's learned something in Europe, then he will know that, reality, you have to adapt your approach. And I see, that's why I said, I think yesterday I said, I mentioned the name like Joy Bhattacharya in the Prime Volleyball League. Good example, right? Actually, someone who did quiz shows and other things and was with ESPN, Star, and later on, long time at Kolkata Knight Riders, then did the Under-17 World Cup and all those things. Yeah, great. Yeah, now people like you confirm most of my doubts about Indian football. Yeah, Roshan, sadly, I would be speaking differently, but these are realities. I really admire efforts of pushing Indian football. My dream is also India to do good. That's my dream anyways. I hope the good days come soon and we can all be happy and proud. Well, I think this is one thing that we all wish for Indian football. That is not happening. That's also sadly a reality. But again, our best wishes are there, and I hope that we can change things for good, because it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and let's wait and see. Stevens' results came through Chetri plus JJ and resolute organized defense shaped Myanmar gave us victories. Was that? Nadeem, not only that, he had a time where he had a great midfield, Nugent and Lingdo in his prime and all that stuff. And Anirudh Thapa and all these guys. So yeah, DPDL are trying their ways to minimize age fraud. Is age fraud a happening thing in Indian sports ecosystem? Has there any change in the last 30 years you have seen? It was there. It is there. It's a problem. Yeah, it is. Today is still a problem, like it was yesterday and the day before. Since there's no ISF for now, AIFF fools who are sleeping should quickly get Stephen, give him a good long camp to ISL starts. I said this earlier, I don't know if you were there. My biggest fear is when we talk about long camps, can the AIFF afford a long camp? Right? Because the AIFF also has to try and run the Indian football season, and I don't even know if the AIFF is in a position to run the Indian football season at the moment. So therefore, for me, the long camp idea is nice, but if there's no ISL, there's no money from Reliance, and then how can they afford it? And they've made certain commitments already to the women's team, so that will be interesting to see. You speak the truth every time, you're honest. That's why you are not that popular in the Indian football community, because no one wants to hear the bitter truth, and then everyone else says delusion, unfortunately. Yeah, thanks, but that's me. That's the reality of things. I will say things the way I see it. I will say things the way I perceive it to be, and yeah. So therefore, let's wait. October 9th and 14th was Singapore. Will our league start by then? If not, will the players be having preseason? Will we have camp? Nadeem, I don't see us, even if the decision comes in the next 2-3 weeks, the ISL will not start before November, December. Right? They will need 2-3 months of proper planning. So therefore, for me, that's what I'm saying. What preseason? How preseason? That's why I think also the Durand Cup should have been held later in the calendar. I don't think that it makes sense to start now in July. Maybe have it, I don't know, in August, September, maybe even September would have been smarter, right? So that's the thing. Yeah, that's the point. When is court case on ISL? Tamiz, there is no court case on ISL. It's on the AIFF constitution. Supposedly, there was something to come out in the first 2 weeks of the Supreme Court opening after the extended summer break. Nothing has come out so far. That was, So I've heard 15th, 18th. I've even heard 23rd. That was yesterday. I don't know. If they surprise us, maybe it comes out tomorrow. But at the moment, I'm not sure when the Supreme Court is going to come out with its final judgment. What's a good way to stop age fraud? We have players, multiple others, and parents who make birth certificates few years later just for age advantage. I don't know what the proper procedure would be in a country like India. This whole Aadhaar thing, again, I've seen, that is there as a problem, no doubt about it. Birth certificates, I think that you have to register your child within the first 7 days of birth. That is, I think, the best way to go about it. But there needs to be a check if the child is 7 days old and it's not, 2 years, right? So therefore, I don't know if that would work in India, but you need to have a system. This is not an Indian football problem, and yeah. Thanks, Dark Knight. Good night. It's pronounced as Tamil. These that sound like ill. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Tamil Selvan. Thanks, Anvarasan, for the correction. Right, 1 hour 46 plus minutes on this live on the 24th of July. Quick reminder, as I've said a few times today, like this video if you thought it's nice. Even those of you who might be watching afterwards, 26 likes so far. Share it with other people. They think it was another very informative session that we've had. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. We're at 2,787. And as I said, a lot of topics that we're talking about in these extended lives are discussed in my short daily videos that I try and bring out every morning. Keep on watching. I did something on the 3 top candidates did yesterday about the application. My 2 favorite coaches also, again, Constantine in, Habas out. Should FIFA step into the Indian football chaos? AIFF's lesson and consequences from the CAS embarrassment. CAS, Interkashi, players word. I said there's a lot of things. Even look at the older stuff. So do watch them so that the channel gets more views. I need that support. Good night. I hope you sleep well in time of sleepless nights. Yeah, hopefully it's better. And Anbarasan says, opinion on verdict delay. Supreme Court, no? I don't know what it is. Are they waiting for sports bill revamp? I don't know. Sports bill was supposed to be passed yesterday, but Parliament is not in action. So therefore, for me, I don't know if that's I'll go with the reasoning that is the problem. To me, we need to think about what's going to happen. So therefore, for me, that's something we'll have to wait and see. And then once the verdict is out, again, my biggest fear was and is that we could get banned by FIFA because of non-compliance with FIFA rules and regulations. I'm not clear of how and where this journey will go. So therefore, we will have to wait and see. Yeah, one last time. Like, share, and subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com. And this brings me to an end to this live. And stay well, stay safe. So now Chaudhary signing off. Good night, everyone.